In the quiet suburbs of Minnesota, a shy, unassuming boy spent his days drawing. He wasn't the most popular kid, nor the best student. In fact, his high school yearbook rejected every single one of his cartoons. That boy was Charles M. Schulz, and the world had no idea that this quiet kid, mocked for his dreams, was about to create a global empire built on a simple comic strip about a boy and his dog. But Schulz's journey was far from a simple success story. It was a tale of relentless rejection, heartbreaking loss, and a secret war he fought every single day, even at the height of his fame. A war that nearly cost him everything. Schulz, or Sparky as his friends called him, was driven by a deep-seated need to be liked. This craving stemmed from a childhood filled with social anxiety and a feeling of being an outsider. His art was his only escape. After serving in World War II, a traumatic experience he rarely spoke of, he returned home more determined than ever. He landed a job as an art instructor, where he met a vibrant, red-haired woman named Donna Mae Johnson. He was instantly smitten. He drew cartoons for her, poured his heart out to her, and eventually he proposed. She turned him down, choosing to marry another man. The rejection was a crushing blow. But instead of letting it destroy him, Schulz channeled his heartbreak into his art. He created a character, a perpetually hopeful but unlucky little boy named Charlie Brown, and the object of his unrequited love, a little red-haired girl who he could never quite talk to. His comic strip, originally named Lyle Folks, was eventually picked up by a syndicate. They loved his work but hated the name. They unilaterally renamed it Peanuts, a title Schulz despised for the rest of his life, feeling it was insignificant and undignified. Despite his misgivings, the strip debuted in 7 newspapers in 1950. It was a slow burn. The characters, lovable loser Charlie Brown, bossy Lucy, philosophical Linus, and of course, a beagle named Snoopy were reflections of Schulz's own insecurities and observations. Snoopy, in particular, began as a simple dog but soon developed a rich fantasy life, becoming a World War I flying ace, a famous author, a suave college kid named Joe Cool. This was Schulz's inner world, his own imagination running wild on the page. But as Peanuts exploded in popularity, becoming a cultural phenomenon with TV specials, merchandise, and a global following, a darkness began to creep into Schulz's life. The man who brought joy to millions was privately battling severe anxiety and depression. He was a perfectionist, tormented by a relentless fear of failure. He drew every single one of the nearly 18,000 Peanut strips himself, refusing to hire assistants. This immense pressure took its toll. He would often wake up in the middle of the night, his hands trembling so badly he couldn't hold a pen. He felt like a fraud, terrified that one day he would run out of ideas and the world would discover he was just that same failed kid from high school. His creation, Snoopy, the carefree, imaginative dreamer, was everything Schulz wished he could be. The fame and fortune brought new problems. His first marriage ended in a difficult divorce, another profound rejection that mirrored the one from his youth. He felt isolated by his own success, unable to connect with people who weren't part of his carefully controlled world. He built a massive studio in Santa Rosa, California, complete with an ice rink, creating a fortress where he could work without interruption. But it was also a gilded cage. He once admitted in an interview that despite his success, he was consumed by a terrible loneliness. The man who created the ultimate symbol of friendship, Charlie Brown's loyal gang, felt utterly alone. His art was his only true companion. The irony was staggering. Schulz had created a universe celebrated for its warmth, its gentle humor, and its profound understanding of childhood anxieties. The Peanuts characters grappled with failure, insecurity, and the search for happiness, themes that resonated with millions because they were so deeply, painfully real to their creator. Charlie Brown's constant struggle, his hope in the face of repeated failure, was Schulz's own struggle writ large. Every time Lucy pulled the football away, it was a reminder of his own life's disappointments. The world saw simple cartoons, but for Schulz, each panel was a therapy session, a way to process a lifetime of pain. Then, in the late 1990s, Schulz's physical health began to fail. His hand tremors worsened, a cartoonist's worst nightmare. In November 1999, after a diagnosis of colon cancer, he made the most difficult decision of his life. He announced his retirement. He couldn't bear the thought of anyone else touching his characters. The final daily Peanuts strip ran on January 3, 2000. It was a heartfelt farewell, with Snoopy typing a letter from Schulz himself, thanking his fans. The world prepared to say goodbye to an icon, but the biggest secret, the most shocking twist in his story, was yet to be revealed. On the evening of February 12, 2000, Charles Schulz passed away peacefully in his sleep. The very next morning, newspapers across the globe delivered the ultimate, poignant finale. By a twist of fate that no one could have planned, the final, full-color Sunday Peanuts strip, drawn weeks in advance, was published for the first time that day. It was his last original work, a final, personal message from beyond the grave. The man who had meticulously planned every line of his nearly 18,000 comic strips had his final word published the morning after he left the world. His life didn't just imitate his art. It concluded with the same perfect, bittersweet timing that made his work a timeless masterpiece. The quiet boy from Minnesota, haunted by rejection, had the last laugh, leaving behind a legacy of joy that would last forever. Thank you for watching. If you were moved by the story of Charles Schulz, don't forget to like this video. Leave a comment with your favorite Peanuts memory and subscribe to Impact Figures for more stories about the incredible lives behind the icons we love. We'll see you in the next one.